All right. So right off the rip, it looks like we've got our 2 transport trucks. On the one on the left, we've got one that's stationed south of the bridge, and an initial supply drop coming down here in the Delta 6 area. I do have one medium tank coming out of their middle spawn with an additional transport truck that appears to have been spawned. All nodes are up. All right, and our artillery man. Here on artillery, we've got Muff Hunter. Let's see what kind of damage he can do throughout the course of the day. Okay, it looks like we might have some stuff going on over here. Let's take a quick peek and see what Muff Hunter's got up his sleeve. Or not Muff Hunter, what these guys over here have got scheduled. We do have an AT gun that's being placed up here on the ridge. Couple AT guns. Looks like with a strong vantage point over the middle bridge. Be interesting to see how those turn out as we go into the match. Let's go over and just take a look and see how this initial cap is going to go. Okay, we are starting to hear some rockets. Looks like no additional hits were provided on that. The first Axis troops are starting to crest the ridge here. Looks like Vincho is popped out to see what he can be able to spot with his binoculars. Try to get an eye out for their Puma on whatever tanks might be trying to cross that river. As you can see, it does provide a very strong advantage from the Axis side to be able to see down from the top of these hills. But we do see the Allied tank, or not Allied tank, but an Allied transport truck rushing across, trying to establish on the far end of the bridge here. And plenty of Germans are coming down to meet them. Let's see who's going to get that first initial hit. Oh, and Vortex, Major Edmund, both fall on down. Triple H appears to have been potentially stuck in the water, but he has made the way across, so good on him for being able to get across there. So the Axis team is starting to get that presence placed and starting to get that push up into the bridge. SCC does not look like they have too many guys past this first northern entrance of the bridge. And with that, we have a PZ-4, a Panzer IV that's pulling up. And they're looking to try to just overwhelm the Allied defenses here by sheer numbers and brute force. Looks like they will be starting to take control of those northern towers. Strange that we have not yet seen a lot of artillery landing on this side. As I speak about it, one does come in. Looks like they are not hitting any points at the moment, but the initial cap does go to SCC, with a strong presence starting to work their way across the bridge. Let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit and get a look at the macro and see what we're dealing with. So it does appear that we do have some AA guns that have been placed potentially, yep, down here. With a good old vantage point over that bridge. Let's just take a quick peek and see what they're working with. Okay, so as you can see, they do have strong sight lines looking over to the southern side of the bridge. Cabo. Bet he wishes he was enjoying the sunshine right now in Cabo. Maybe that means that is where he is. If he is, I'm very jealous. It's hot, but we don't have the beaches where I'm from. Okay, and with that, we are starting to see some cap pressure coming from SCC with a Axis supply drop coming in from the top. And I apologize, that not SCC, G.O.A.T. G.O.A.T is starting to make that progress here from the Axis side. Let's zoom on back here and see what else we've got. So opening up, it looks like SCC was able to establish a garrison on the northern side of Ludendorff Bridge. That will be huge for them as they work to try to continue the cap and push further down. The main issue that they have to face is if that bridge is lost, because G.O.A.T is starting to get that progress on that point, those garrisons will be going down, which will make all of that for naught, unfortunately. But the fact they were able to get so many people across on both sides, that shows some very good strategic planning from their officer corps to be able to know that, hey, we need to get some people on that far side and able to, in order to try to keep things up and to try to allow them to get some type of push moving forward. So as of right now, we can see the majority of the battle is concentrated around that northern side of the bridge, with SCC having mounted some amount of push from that southern side. And right now, with the exception of a few little dots, we do have a fairly nice even split through this point. Looks like we've got people going underneath, some people going above, and that's where we're getting a lot of that split. So Sergeant Shiny did not see Cabo, the two Cabos, slide under there. Definitely an area where you have to have two different groups keeping an eye on the top and the bottom of that bridge. Now, a lot of the time you'll also have some people that are stationed around kind of on the banks and the shore, keeping an eye up, focused on that bottom portion of the bridge as the tanks are trying to keep an eye on the north or on the top part of it, just to try to prevent anybody from running down under there. But it looks like with that, Papitas, and I apologize, I do not speak Spanish, so I very much am going to butcher these names, so I do apologize in advance. But it looks like he was able to gain control over that southern bottom portion of the bridge, and he is just peeking up. But Narwhal's coming behind him. Does he see him? Agent Narwhal with his pistol. He's an MG. Oh, and he gets him. Wins it with the pistol. And Cabo Petitas, man, he's just going for a swim. We'll wait and we'll put that down as one to Davy Jones's locker. All right. So it looks like the enemy Panzer Force still is stationed on the far end of that bridge. It is marked here by the enemy, by the SCC side. But as of right now, it does not appear that he has much to worry about. Dead Sheep NZL does not appear to be right in the area, but he does know that that tank is there. Go ahead and get a look and see what this PZ4 is looking at here. Ooh, Wanjo embracing his inner goat, representing goat, trying to get climbing up, trying to get climbed. Oh, but Dead Sheep NZL trying to get a satchel on. Oh, but the TC is taken out by Artie. Man, what a quick chain of events right there. As we're seeing this Panzer IV now down tank commander, just slowly trying to back out of this fight. He knows that the area now is not as secure as he wants it to be. Hopefully here in a moment, Command Chat will be able to relay down to them that they are safe, that they have eliminated the threats, but definitely left that Panzer IV shaking in his boots a little bit. Alright, so zooming back out on the bridge, let's take a quick look at what we're looking at here on the SCC side. So from a garrison network, we are very strong along that 6-7 boundary line. Garrisons placed out pretty much every 200 meters, within a little bit of an exception here closer to the bridge. You do have some OPs that are able to act as some type of radar, just in case they were to notice that people somehow got behind them, either through an airhead or got under the bridge. But overall, they have good placement, even if they were to miss an airhead that would come down. That one of these garrisons or other spawn points would definitely alert them pretty quickly to any enemy that they may have on their back line. So that's a very smart play just allowing them to be able to concentrate all their fire and their focus here on the bridge, as this is where the majority of their fighting is going to take place. Now, what looks like we do have a friendly, is it our friendly medium? Yes, our friendly medium here that is starting to get heavily damaged from some fire that's coming up from the top of the bridge, and it is taken out. Andy 90 left there with the repair tool, just wondering what in the world just happened. And he is bandaging. Gonna be waiting for his buddies. Never mind, not bandaging. Redeploy. That is definitely the faster way, just to get right back up with his tank crew. And with that, we are starting to see some crap pressure come in on both points here. But with G.O.A.T making the biggest push here, as they are now halfway capped with Ludendorff Bridge. We are going to see an allied bombing run come in here across that northern portion of the bridge. However, it's probably not going to get very much help, especially with the people that are coming down hard cap. Mogold up there trying to take out the commander tank ping and trying to get some sort of advantage, but that cap pressure is still coming in from G.O.A.T. Bombing run is going to land, but unfortunately it looks like we've only taken out a couple different people, maybe 4 or 5 people max, and unfortunately that is not going to be enough to flip that cap in their favor. So while they are getting power and progress onto the 4th point, they are going to lose this middle point capture, with G.O.A.T now officially taking over the Ludendorff Bridge. With a G.O.A.T taking out the supply truck that they were looking to try to use to reinforce underneath. Okay, and so with that, we do have to have a reset. And we will notice that here with SCC, they did lose 2 of their inside garrisons that were just inside those neutral territories. And because of that, they will no longer have that radar built up. And they do not appear to have enough supplies here in the area, and that will help them be able to get that up. Unless they put it right in the middle, they probably could get it. But then their available garrisons just went down from the 5 along the line to the 2. So let's take a look and see how this shapes up. Okay, we do have our first 76 coming out of the bottom right spawn. So that no doubt is going to play a big factor in trying to help SCC get back into this. One very important factor that we are seeing is that SCC still does have some manpower on the backside. Sergeant Shining does end up going down, but along with him, Sergeant Vortex goes away. Snafu is also Major Chip, but here we have Trey RFC that has played a very big role in getting up a Whammo garrison here on the opposite side. Now, if this doesn't go marked by G.O.A.T, this could prove to be a very costly garrison for them to have on this side, just as long as they can keep stemming bodies here. But SCC will need to be able to keep a presence up on the front side of that bridge and prevent G.O.A.T from getting across. All right, now that we have this point set up, let's go ahead and take a look, see if we can get an idea of what G.O.A.T has done on this backside to try to reinforce their flanks. So here I do not see any garrisons floating up here along the top. Sergeant Gallo is taken down by the SCC purge that's coming in from that Whammo garrison in the back line. So based off a quick look here, no immediate garrisons have been found. We know they're out there, but they are a little bit harder for us to see. But let's really see kind of how we're seeing this situation develop. So to give us a sight on kind of both sides that are going on here, we do have SCC guys on the northern bank that appear to be making a good, strong push. OPs are not warm, as there are no enemies here in this backside. Commander Osloth is the one that would know that these guys are coming. So the main goal of those guys back behind the line is to be taking out whatever garrisons the GOAT may have been able to put up. It looks like the teammates from SCC have been able to mount some sort of resistance here on the southern side and have prevented GOAT from being able to push across too much. However, GOAT is starting to get numbers, and everybody appears to be stationed up inside this southern, the southeast tower. Now that could end up being problematic if somebody were to get in there and kind of wipe them out. What you might want to see as a commander is to kind of have people spread out, have a little bit of distance between each other. That just ensures that people don't get kind of wiped out by one crazy gunman that's just nuts when it comes to getting his thumbs on the sticks. With this, we do see the OCC side slowly creeping towards the northern side of the bridge. Let's go ahead and get a focus here on what Mogold is looking at. Mogold is currently in the tower, just trying to hold up shop. He does not want that to go out. He does not want to give that ground up that he's been able to gain so far, and I don't doubt it. I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't want to do that either. So for now, Mogul is just going to kind of sit in here and hold on and try to make sure that if anybody does end up coming up those stairs, which it does look like Hartman is. Oh, we do have a battle going. Oh, and Mogul does end up winning that. But no doubt his position has been given up. So it is going to get really spicy here for Mogold before he knows it. I may have gotten myself locked into this tower here real fast. Let's take a look and see if I can get... All right, we are out the window. All right. Okay, so zooming out here. SCC do still have their presence, and their garrison is still open. There's nobody spawning on at the moment, so one major factor that they're going to have that's going to be able to help them out is that because nobody is needing to spawn over there, it's going to be harder for GOAT to really follow those breadcrumbs and get in on that point to take out that garrison. Now we see here that GOAT has made their way back to those southern towers, and as you can see, they have started to gain control over them. Through sheer power and force, they are getting the power, they are getting what they need to get through here. Narwhal's going down to Mayor Stone up here on the top with his STG, slowly clearing it out. Wins the fight against Aussie Soldier. Gonna swap spaces here with Foxtrot as he bandages up, but Foxtrot does appear to have also gotten that man coming up the stairs. So slowly but surely, GOAT is getting everybody out of those towers, and they are gaining advantage. So they pretty much now have entire control over the bridge, and it's really up for SCC to really push back into this and try to gain some type of ground to prevent them from pushing out further. Because if GOAT continues to push out further, it's going to just make it that much harder for them to be able to get that foothold back on the bridge. As you can see, we are still seeing a lot of people split here. Going back here to the map, garrison here, the backside Whammo garrison here for SCC is still up, with Major Chip kind of watching over that. It looks like they did just lose a garrison here in the G7 area as we had this pulled up. I don't know if that was removed by command or if that was removed by other means, but that is another area here that could cause some radar coverage to go away because there are no OPs or garrisons there at the moment. Alright, so Zoka here, slowly just making his own way back, but Big Bear saying, hey, I don't want you here in my house. Oh, let's see, got the angle on him. Oh, Hizoku does take him out. Snafu recognizing the danger as well. Hizoka does his little dance as he tries to avoid Snafu's shots. It appears that he did get himself behind an area. Let's see if we can get here into Snafu's vision here. See what he's working with. Hizoka does, he peeks and he does get him. So good work on Hizoka here to be on kind of just fighting his own little war back here. Slowly pushing SCC players out of the way as he tries to gain that foothold for his team. Now, that is something they are going to want to watch for because they do need to get some type of officer there as well, or Hizoka's charge and bravery here in the face of this danger just will go relatively without effect. As we turn back in here, SCC does look like they have started to gain control over the southern portion of this bridge. They now own the south tower, or sorry, the east tower, but the west tower still holding G.O.A.T members up in there. We will come back to that in a moment and just see where that kind of goes. It does appear that Wanjo may have gotten his OP up here on the backside, which will prove to be huge to try to help people get off of that bridge. But we will come back as we join SCC as they slowly try to make their way across the bridge here. All right, and with that, we do still have the garrison up for SCC, but it does appear that most of their men that they did have fighting over that northern portion have been eliminated, so a lot of them have been forced to kind of fall back. Let's take a look and see what we're dealing with on the Axis armored side. It does appear that we are trying to get another AT gun up, as the previous one was destroyed. Good on these guys for just slowly working back up this hill. Does not appear that is going to be a good angle for us, so we're going to go ahead and just back out, see again what they're working with. And as of right now, we know that the Allied tank is located further back in the sector. And they may have gotten an eye on him as they just slowly traverse this cannon to get towards it. The 76 is definitely making a lot of noise as he tries to weed out whatever things might be going on behind him there. But it does not appear that this AT gun has been able to see where this tank is. Let's zoom on over there, see if we're seeing anything. That is a big negative. So yeah, they are just firing off to the side of where this 76 is. So our 76 here is floating in this backside. With not Medic Eugene leading the charge here for them. Now, from what it looks like, that AT gun could very well have some type of angle on them. But it is kind of difficult for them to get around. So it'll be interesting to see how this 76 looks. Let's go ahead, let's look and see what we're dealing with on the Axis armor side. As my ADHD kicked in a little earlier, and we were going to do it, but ended up getting a little sidetracked by the AT gun that was up there. So Sergeant Vicno again up here, just keeping an eye on everything, as no doubt I'm sure his tank crew is maneuvering around. Oh, his Puma is still back here. It does sound like we do have an enemy bombing run, or yep, we do have a bombing run coming in from G.O.A.T over the southern portion of that bridge. And it could wipe out that garrison. Oh, but it looks like it has just missed that garrison. So SCC, with much luck, is going to keep that garrison up back here. Wherever it ends up floating around. Looks like probably under the bridge. Yeah, there it is. So that garrison is going to stay up to be able to provide that anchor here on the southern side. But here we can see G.O.A.T is again making ground. Wait, is that what I think it is? Did he get his? Let's go for a dive here. Yeah, we can't see it, but I swear I just saw Angel come out of there. Oh, but he is coming up against multiple guys running around that side. Takes out 2. Takes out a 3rd. Man, Angel. It must be those the underwater powers that he got blessed with by Poseidon or something there as he tried to make his way out of the river. Because, man, Mayor Stone most likely assisted him in some way, but I did not see Angel getting out of there the way he did, so kudos on them. Mayor Stone does make a play on this garrison. Does take out the 2 people. Snafu going up above does not recognize that Mayor Stone is underneath, and he does take out that front side garrison for G.O.A.T. So good play by him, not only to help out Angel as he's coming out of the river. Oh, there it is. There's the OP. And it still makes for a good story with him coming out of the river. But that proving to be huge and taking out that garrison here. So very well done on G.O.A.T for maintaining that presence on the southern side. And we do have the satchel going off for Angel. He is just being a one-man wrecking crew back there. So G.O.A.T now securely in control of the southern portion of this bridge. As we can see, there are no close garrisons and nobody here. So this is really going to be a good opportunity for G.O.A.T to capitalize on this side. If they can get some bodies over here, it will prove to be a very strong anchoring push for them. We do see the allied supplies coming in, but unfortunately it is awaited by groups of goats ready to take out those supplies. Let's take a quick glance over here and what we're working with Yanjo. He appears to be a man on his own island, but this man on his own island is an officer. And so he can set up a lot of problems he's able to get some type of garrison or OP, which he is by no means probably that's all exactly what's on his mind as he's trying to search around here, potentially gets a map edge to try to get some type of garrison up. If he's able to do that, that will prove to be a very strong pushing off point for G.O.A.T. Appears like we may have some issues with the stream here, so I'm just popping back into here real fast, seeing what we've got. All right, and with that, it does appear that we did have some technical difficulties here. Again, first timer curse going on here. All right, so we are starting to get a stream going here. Ah, that was the issue. Okay, found it. So I do apologize to those who were waiting in the background there, but we have figured it out. I have told it we have gone live. Aha, and with that we are live.
It looks like we've got our 2 transport truck.
All right. So my apologies to everybody that's joining in on the stream there. Looks like we didn't lose any of the action here, so very well done. We will take our wins when we can. But with that, they are now joining in, so I apologize and appreciate your patience as we are figuring out the kinks in how this streaming world goes. I want to say I'm very much somebody that's technically inept, so I like to think I can figure things out pretty quickly, but you know, there's always a first time. You gotta learn the kinks. However, while we were away, G.O.A.T has been able to get garrison up on this northern side of or on the southern side of the bridge, it appears, and in so doing started to flood people into the point. However, SCC has started to make progress here on this bridge once again, so we are officially in a mild cap race here. Looks like G.O.A.T has started to lose their pressure on the 4th point, but SCC has been able to gain full control over those southern towers, and with those southern towers have started to push around and get some pressure on the hard cap. Now, as you do notice, the hard cap is pretty well centered between what these 2 bridge structures are crossing the river, and at the moment they are very much outweighing the G.O.A.T presence. Now, G.O.A.T's P4 here is up on the tank, just here up on the bridge, trying to hold off what push from SCC is coming. G.O.A.T 1989 back there, but it does look like we are getting some reinforcements here that allows for that cap pressure to go back towards middle, and they are defending currently on the 4th point, but SCC is currently still with such strong cap weight here on this middle bridge. Cap does continue to tick back and forth, no doubt working through some type of reinforce from the Axis side as they continue to plunge bodies into the bridge. Both sides just pushing people in, and it looks like SCC has gained again a good footing where we do see cap progress coming back in, and some excitement definitely happening over here on this backside. Cap pressure on 4th here down in Osveg is definitely gone away for the G.O.A.T side as they try to force people back here on bridge, but it appears that SCC has been able to force them out of that strong point, thereby negating any additional help they can get from that reinforce. However, G.O.A.T at the very last second appears to have gotten just enough bodies in there to try to keep that cap counter moving back in the right direction for them. How quickly is SCC going to be able to react to be able to try to get bodies up here on point? SCC still does not have that garrison up here on the southern side of the bridge, but we do have a bombing run from SCC coming through, and unfortunately only getting 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 guys that may have gotten out there before we were able to get our viewpoint on them. But let's see, we got lots of G.O.A.T members up here just hiding themselves in the strong point, trying to get some element of pressure as they continue to defend that point. But we do lose the Panzer IV, which was causing a good amount of cap strength for the Axis team. But here we see underneath we have some of those major battles that we were talking about here on the bottom side of the bridge, with Foxtrot going up against Sergeant Shiny and Brute. Mayor Stone again trying to get some help, but he is unable to provide that. Let's go ahead and zoom in here and just see what this battle looks like from the perspective of our friendly SCC players here. That's the thing about competition play is, you know, a lot of the players on the other side are going to be able to shoot. And you have to dip, dive, dodge as you try to maneuver around, especially in such a tight environment such as this. But as we can see, cap progress is coming back in for SCC, and the battles that they're winning underneath the bridge here are definitely paying off for them. Let's go ahead and... Oh, Brute, is he able to get him? No. Gaborone. Oh, but he is taken out by Vortex, winning another key gunfight here underneath the bridge. SCC still has their cap presence coming in, with a garrison up now a little bit south of that bridge. But Colonel Onslaught trying to fight as much as he can to keep this point in their favor, but it doesn't look like his efforts alone will be able to be sufficient to take this. And so SCC will be capping this point. As we see, 76 has now moved up into the fight. Colonel Onslaught has been taken out. With that, SCC captures Ludendorff Bridge again. Now, this 76 is going largely uncontested, but does have the aid of having a repair station up here on the backside. But it does not appear to be active at the moment, so we'll go ahead and just forget about that for a moment. But we'll stay here with this allied tank as it pushes in, trying to gain more ground for SCC. That is quite the turn of events, because G.O.A.T truly was getting a good cap pressure on that southern side. Had control over both towers and making a push towards fourth point. But unfortunately, we're unable to maintain that presence and get the cap back to fourth, as SCC just like a knife shoved right up the gut to be able to try to gain some type of presence back on that bridge, which led to a successful cap. And that's the hard thing we do see on these maps, is that if a team does end up getting some type of presence on the fourth point, it often leaves them very susceptible to people getting across the bridge. So one key point is that we see a lot in these types of matches, that it is very, very important to keep presences on the front of that bridge, because just like you saw with G.O.A.T there, it could prove to be detrimental if that enemy squad is able to get back onto the bridge and gain control. And it really could cut down all of your momentum, and in this case, like it did for G.O.A.T, end up with you losing the point. Alright, so post-cap situation. Let's see how SCC is holding out. So F Squad up here with G.O.A.T 1989 and his team is currently the only members north of the bridge. But Garrison Network back behind the point does look fairly solid once again. Alright, let's take a quick dive back into Ludendorff Bridge here. Now we're going to use our flyover skills as Big Bear works to build up a rep station here on the southern side. That'll be big for his armor crews, especially if they still have that friendly 76 floating up here. Let's go ahead and kind of cut off with some of those names here and just get the raw action footage. It appears that 76 is gone, so no longer supporting the push. But man, did he come in big in getting that up for him. It does appear that SCC have been able to get a garrison on the bridge, as we're seeing as we fly by on the bottom right hand side of the screen. And with that, they are going to be able to contain a push from G.O.A.T. Artillery will not be able to take that out, so it'll be left up to the infantrymen to be able to try to gain some type of ground in order to take that garrison out. So we're looking for a bombing run, rocket, armor, something that just might be able to take that garrison out. But Sergeant Shiny here, definitely making some pressure and progress here on the bridge. Let's go ahead and take a peek in his first-person perspective here as he tries to bandage from the work that he is trying to do to hold G.O.A.T from getting across that bridge. Okay, he's now fully healed. Oh, gets an angle on Hisoka, but unable to take him out. we will go ahead and zoom right back out and see where the macro is now kind of landing. So as you can see, we still have SCC with a few bodies up north, but the majority of them are still concentrated south of the bridge. Mayor Stone does appear to have found his way up to the front. He is locking out this garrison, and he does see it. Will he be able to take it out? And he does so. Good play by Major Stone here as he works to take that out. Fortunately loses his life, but is very well served as he has now been able to take that garrison off that SCC was able to put into the middle of that bridge. So just as I was saying earlier, infantry really making the play there to help them out and getting that taken care of. All right. So we are still not seeing a lot of Axis armor outside of that Panzer IV that was taken out on the bridge that saved the cap initially for the Axis side. Okay, it looks like that Puma that was floating around the top is no longer around, keeping an eye on things. Let's take a quick roll out here, see if we see any Axis armor coming up the roads. Nothing in their right HQ spawn. Okay, well, it looks like we do have some armor coming out. Going to be coming from this middle HQ. And again, pulling out another Panzer IV, potentially? No, there it is. There's the Tiger. That's what we're looking for. So here we go, seeing another Tiger tank here for the G.O.A.T squad coming out. Very good on them for getting that stronger tank out there. All right, we are now at the 45-minute mark, so we are at the halfway point of this match. Stuck in the deadlock of 3-2. But so far, we have had plenty of options with both teams putting pressures on that fourth point. So doing a quick check here on the map. Let's see how SCC is setting up. Garrison Network still is playing in strong. They have been unable to get that garrison back up on bridge, so we'll keep an eye on that, see if they're able to get that there. But we do see a airhead kind of going up here on the backside for him, so let's see what we can kind of, if anything develops from that up on Epler. G.O.A.T bombing run does hit the bridge, but unfortunately does not appear that they will take any type of garrison out. Definitely have taken out some guys, but the outposts still will remain up as those bombing runs cannot take out those outposts. So while they may have lost some ground for just a few seconds within a matter of minutes, a matter of seconds here, SCC should be able to get back up on top of that and get those bodies spawned back in. Yep, and there we see SCC has slowly started getting back into the cap and defended the little bit of progress that G.O.A.T was able to put up onto there. All right. So we do see that one Axis Tiger tank. They would have gotten up here very quickly. But looking at that Allied airhead that has landed and gone unnoticed by, G.O.A.T, those people will want to scatter and try to get as many outposts as they can up. That's good discipline on the side of Commander Pickles here to not also put a supply drop there, giving away the area of his airhead. But just like we were seeing with G.O.A.T as they started to push fourth point, we are seeing SCC losing out on cap progress here. All right. And we also have a Lux with Sergeant Shiny sneaking up behind him. Sergeant Shiny does have the Sapper class, but he probably does not have. No, I do not see a satchel currently on the Lux. Let's see if Sergeant Shiny, oh, he does pull out his satchel and is able to get up. And unfortunately, Colonel Lively is a solo tanker at this time, so he does hear him. Oh, and is able to get Sergeant Shiny, but is he going to be able to find the satchel and where it was placed? Yes, he is. And he will be able to disarm that satchel in time for him to be able to get it. Heads up play from Colonel Lively to be able to hear that play by Sergeant Shiny in getting up and getting that satchel on. Heartbreaker for Sergeant Shiny. But SCC is currently way down on the cap progress. Again, we got distracted, so my apologies there. We do have a reinforce up with plenty of bodies trying to force themselves up into point. But that will negate any presence that SCC does have up on that point at the moment. We do... Oh, these guys need to push into that hard cap to be able to get that pressure on. And just like that, G.O.A.T has been able to take it. So again, we see whenever somebody has made a play on bridge or onto that fourth point, we have seen that middle point be lost. So it is proving to be very costly to be able to get those pushes up on that fourth point. And again, we are still back on that 3-2. Still plenty of time left here with 41 minutes to go. And this time SCC did learn from their first loss at that point, and those garrisons are placed back behind the point. We are getting the enemy Lux tank still called out here. Scratch that, Tiger. So here's that Tiger that we were seeing on that point. Let's go take a quick peek and see if we still have that other G.O.A.T Tiger up here on the top. Does not appear that we have that there, so that one Tiger was eliminated, but SCC is coming back and getting pressure on that point. Commander Pickles leading the charge here. Gears taken out. SCC still maintaining that presence and still have a lot of bodies to the north. If they are able to get this cap, that will open it up greatly for them to be able to try to get some pressure up onto that fourth point with men still in the back line areas. Going relatively unnoticed. Triple H will be big for his squad right now if he can stay alive. Now we do have allied supplies that are landing on the bridge. SCC no doubt wanting to take advantage of the progress that they have made on that point. All right. Let's see, and with that, those supplies have landed from SCC as they continue to make progress and pressure onto the middle cap. Again, if we kind of use those two rafter poles here sticking out of the river as a good symbol of kind of where the cap progress is, SCC does appear to have potentially one or two more bodies in there, but G.O.A.T is slowly starting to get people pushed into there. Commander Pickles was able to get that garrison up on the southern side, but it is currently locked out. We are looking for about 100 meters away in order to get that garrison to light up. So with what we're looking at, Agent Narwhal and Teach RFC will be pivotal in keeping this match in this push moving forward and able to trying to open up that garrison there for him, which it looks like they now have done because they have taken the point. So good work on SCC to be able to get back and get that point again from G.O.A.T just minutes after losing it for the first time. Doing a quick look here. we still have that recon Garrett, that recon OP that is still up in the back. So that will prove to be very big for SCC as they continue to try to make a push towards the 4th point. Now, if you were sitting back here as Commander Pickles, your team has just lost Blundorf Bridge, but was able to regain it fairly quickly. At this time, you do not have any supplies on the other side, with the exception of some 50 supplies that are scattered out. We are getting a supply drop that is going to be landing in the north, so this could end up being big if they are able to get it. But unfortunately at this time, G.O.A.T needs to be keeping their heads up, especially hearing that plane go over, to see if they are able to find out where this push is coming from, because they, again, were not able to find where that airhead landed previously. Triple H just out here by himself. Has Sergeant Bunden found that supply drop coming in? It appears that he may have seen it. Let's go ahead and zoom in on his sight line and see where he is finding and pushing towards. And with that, we are starting to see the point flicker here a little bit, but it does appear that Sergeant Bunden has turned around and is no longer pursuing that supply drop. Cabo Somoza and Bunden now turning around to try to find what they can. So good on them for trying to come back and take out that supply drop that has landed. As Triple H does work to try to get that garrison up. He will no doubt be in danger here momentarily as he works to try to get that garrison up. Bunden's coming in close. Bunden has to surely see him, but he misses his first shot, unfortunately. Triple H coming in with the carbine is able to get him taken care of. G.O.A.T is starting to get progress on that middle cap, but it is hotly contested as that progress goes back and forth here. We're going to stick here for just another moment to see if Triple H is able to get this garrison up. And it looks like he is going to abandon it at this time, which that actually is a very smart play from Triple H to know that the enemy is closing in on him and not risk giving up those supplies. Oh, but they were able to get a secondary supply drop up here on the north side, so he was able to get a garrison up with 100 supplies still available. But unfortunately, Triple H has left the garrison as Cabo Somoza and Ehart man are zeroing in. Triple H has been killed, but the G.O.A.T players appear to have not noticed that garrison. So that will be interesting to keep an eye on here as we continue to see how that pressure and that push goes for SCC. They are currently defending the bridge point. We'll get down here and get an angle on both sides here, see what action we have going on. Colonel Lively just making his presence known, and unfortunately making it known too well that he ends up getting shot. But Wanjo says, no, I'm out of this. I'm getting into that fire to get that pressure going on. Let's take a look and see what Safes is looking at here on the first-person perspective. Going with the Thompson, and the caster curse, I have learned, is very much real. Let's see what Vortex is able to do. Let's use our handy-dandy laser pointer to see where his gun is aimed at this time. As he bandages, let's go ahead and look at Agent Narwhal here. Gonna try smoking it out. Use the advantage of his shotgun to try to gain a little bit of ground here, as he can definitely clear out large amounts of enemies with that shotgun blast. Oh, and our flamethrower fan is back here. Let's take a quick look from this perspective. Okay, to Cortez. Let's see what things look like from his perspective. Okay, handy dancing laser pointer. Let's see what type of chaos this man can cause here on the back line. Oh, rockets coming in though to try to take people out on the bottom portion of this bridge. G.O.A.T is making progress and winning the battles that they need to make and winning here on this bridge. Taking out Safta. He is just moving up, clearing out, but unfortunately may have fried himself as his flame did catch the wall and may have burnt himself out. So unfortunately, that action is going to go by the wayside here for a moment. But here, as we were kind of expecting, this garrison has gone largely unnoticed. Maybe they got the first one out, which is going to give G.O.A.T a false sense of security, thinking they may have gotten that garrison out of the back line. But here we go. We got Triple H, Agent Narwhal, coming off the top here. Appears that their presence might be unknown. Sergeant Earman is just currently... Ehartman is just kind of looking around, keeping an eye on things with Mogold. Oh, misses his first shot. Mogold is able to get a sightline on him. Oh, and that is unlucky, as they may have very well just taken each other out. But Ehart, no doubt, had seen that garrison here. No command marks being given yet for where that garrison is, but that turns G.O.A.T on to thinking, okay, we got somebody behind our back line here. Some type of spawn's going up. Commander Osloth, what do your elf eyes see as you are standing here on top of the cliff? Okay, we are seeing an Axis supply drop coming down. Appears to be right in the middle of the bridge, so we'll see what power and pressure they can continue to put on it, as SCC is losing this middle cap point with 30 minutes to go in this match. Slowly are getting more and more bodies back, but unfortunately at this time, oh, J-Rat unfortunately makes a swan dive into the ocean, into the lake there. Whew, sorry, not lake, river, and is unable to recover. Cap pressure going very much back and forth right now, as G.O.A.T slowly is getting more bodies onto point. We are seeing cap pressure remaining pretty steady for SCC. We are seeing Commander Pickles putting a supply drop on the far end of the bridge, which is ultimately a good play, as it may allow them to start getting some type of pressure and progress to maintain the front side of that bridge. Because for them it would be key to get over there again and hold the northern portion of that bridge. If they can hold the towers and everything up in front of it, really prevents anybody from getting under the bridge or causing additional problems. And then at that point, they're pretty well locked down. So good on them. Let's see if that supply drop is able to get down here. I know a lot of people in these casts, a lot of the infantrymen do tend to kind of go unnoticed, and so my goal here is to provide that extra level for the infantryman experience, to really see where those battles are going to be fought. Not that we don't love our tankers, but we'll try to spread that camera love. That supply drop is going to be eaten up here by the G.O.A.T forces. So as we can see, SCC has controlled the bottom portion of the bridge. Safesa getting across. As you can see, that trick being used. He has been able to make it across, and no doubt will bandage here very shortly. But he is able to get over. That will allow his team to be able to force people onto that OP and get that filled up. But with that, the Allied powers are going strong here on an airhead being placed up on the north side, right on Eplerley. This is a very gutsy call, but at the end of the day, no other pressure has been able to make progress up here on the 4th point. So let's go ahead and take a look and see how this airhead comes down. We still are not seeing this garrison marked. But with that, it is on top of the hill, so the GOAT players, if E-Heartman does not notice this airhead, may not be able to get back in time before they do get some spawns on this airhead. Bundin, no doubt, has noticed this as he is beelining it towards this airhead. Let's go ahead and zoom in here, see if we can get a look and see what Bundin's looking at. As he is searching for that airhead. And we have the advantage here of having the allied side on our side, so we are able to see where that spawn is. But Bundin appears to have missed it, and he is walking way past it. And SCC does get an airhead spawn. And with that, we are going to get zoomed back out here. So Ask the Wall, it is vital for him to try to stay up, but unfortunately I cursed him with the caster curse. Mogold needs to start winning these battles here. We have 4 different officers up here that are now going to be able to get their OPs up here. GOAT is reacting, but this garrison has gone noticed. As we see Vortex and Ringa, Sharpshooter. Vortex with a huge rocket eliminating that garrison, and any ability for GOAT to go ahead and spawn back onto here. And this could be dangerous for GOAT. What a ballsy airhead, but it is seeming to pay off for SCC as they are getting lots of bodies here onto the hard cap. What an exciting change in motion here. Mogold did take out E-Heartman, so they now have full control over the hard cap sector, leaving the rest of GOAT down on the northern side of the bridge. No doubt forcing as many bodies as they can to fill up all of these squads. Cabo Baker not knowing what's awaiting him as he gets to the top of this hill. But as of right now, it is all SCC on the hard cap. GOAT getting pressure coming from their lock sector in the 2-row. SCC needs to turn around and be able to address this. Airhead is still up and has gone unnoticed. Bundin appears to may have seen where that finally was. Wabbit. It is Wabbit season up here on the north side. Bundin has taken out the airhead, but there are still plenty of OPs here for SCC. Who have now been able to gain control over all of the trenches on the south side of Eplerley. And they do have supplies already down, ready for that garrison to go up. Major Chip is sitting here ready for that garrison to go up. And with that, that will be an SCC cap up on Eplerley. What a play by Commander Pickles here to be able to get that garrison up and win a key number of gunfights here right on the top. Oh, and with that, not only do we have the cap going here on Eplerley with the garrison already up, but we are starting to see solo cap pressure from Triple H here. If he can get back here, get into the hard cap, we're going to continue to see this pressure come. Now, if you're Commander Pickles, you are working with as many officers as you can to try to get as many support drops and reestablish your garrison network on that northern side. Triple H doesn't know it, but he is the only one in that area. If he can get himself into hard cap, he can definitely continue to make progress and pressure towards the 4th point, the final and 5th and final point here. He is looking around trying to find garrisons and pulling bodies back, which will allow his friendly forces to be able to gain that advantage and continue to hold out onto Epler Lay there. So he will go unnoticed. All of these GOAT players are having to come from the north or from the west side, which does indicate that they most likely do not already have a garrison here on that final point of radar. Let's go ahead. Now that this point has been taken, let's see how we are working on our garrison network. So SCC has been able to get a secondary garrison just south of Dan Renard. And if they are smart, they should be sending some of their players off of that and trying to spread out. Good work. They've gotten a third garrison up. So that garrison network is moving along very nicely for them, which is key, especially in a situation such as this, where they have been able to get this very strong point, this very difficult point to get. It is very, very essential they get those garrisons up as quickly as possible, and they are doing very well at getting it there. GOAT appears to be losing gunfights right along the boundary edge, and with that could end up losing some of their spawns that they have back here. Let's take a quick zoom over here and see if we can see anywhere where these guys are spawning in. So Bundin, Somoza, De Cortez are making some pressure to be able to hold off on the front. Wabbit is hoping again. Wabbit season is not going to come back and get him. They were able to get a spawn off the garrison as Wabbit does take out an enemy player. Takes out 2 enemy players. And with that, the point is now contested with SCC making pressure. They are now starting to get cat pressure as the Axis truck from Enditos comes in here. But unfortunately, it is going to be within the 2 grid squares and they will not be able to get supplies there. So they are very dependent on getting supplies down, which they have been able to get a garrison up behind Radar. But based off of spawns that are coming in, it is very unlikely that GOAT has any other garrison up on the back line. So they were kind of caught with their pants down with that 4th point capture there, as it does not appear that they have any backside garrisons up. Triple H walking right by the garrison, unfortunately not able to see it. Sounds like he may have heard it. Triple H making the play. And with that, he is going to get that garrison out. So that is going to be huge for SCC to continue this push. So pushing over to the line, we do have a strong presence here starting to form here for SCC as they are making a front line that is going contested, but they are slowly and surely pushing back that GOAT defense. SCC, we should start seeing a few more spawns coming off here, but Cabo Somoza sees that garrison and is trying to make progress towards it. Will they get a spawn off on it? No, it does not appear that they will unless people are locked into it at this time. So Cabo Somoza is going to take out that garrison, which will prove to be painful with Shooter coming in on the backside, almost getting him with a rocket. But he does take out Somoza, but in turn is taken out with Bundin. So that's going to clear their front door from any enemy presence, leaving an angle for GOAT to go ahead and flank down in here. But from a resources perspective, we can see that SCC is doing very well, actually. They are currently sitting on plenty of resources for fuel, and knowing they can spawn in another 76, which it appears that they have 2 76s that are pushing off the south side. Unfortunately, they will have to climb the hill once they get there, so it could be another 10 minutes or so before we do see them start to get in on the action. But if they are able to do so, they really could prove to be a tipping point here. All right, and with that, we have Axis supplies that are falling very close to Allied supplies, actually, as they try to work to establish some type of garrison up here on the point. Triple H has been doing work for his squad, just sitting ready to see where garrisons might be placed here for the GOAT side. Sitting and observing, going unnoticed. Very strong recon play up here by him, as he has proved to be very instrumental in navigating a lot of fights here and getting a lot of positions here for the Allied side. Okay, we do have a recon plane that's gone up with lots of enemies being spotted on there, so that is a good recon plane by Commander Pickles. G.O.A.T is bringing out we saw a tank come up on that mark. Was that just the Puma? Yeah, it appears that that was just the Puma. All right. They do have a backside garrison here that will provide a little bit of back for them in case they do start losing radar to allow their men to still continue to spawn in. But here we are looking at a major gap right here for SCC. And it appears that's where the majority of the G.O.A.T forces have been able to concentrate as they work to try to get some type of flank back around here on Eplerley. But unfortunately, just due to the mountainside that they are currently having to deal with, G.O.A.T does have to go downhill and then try to fight back uphill. That's going to be very difficult for them as they have to try to navigate that high ground situation. Vortex just sending his rockets in. Let's go ahead and see what Sergeant Foxtrot's looking at here. There's Vortex right there. Is he able... Oh, Vortex gets the kill. My apologies to Sergeant Foxtrot here, as he unfortunately became a victim of the caster curse as soon as I zoomed in on him. This is very interesting from the casting perspective with the admin cam, because this is as high as I can fly over just due to the elevation of the map. Okay, we do see the Axis Panzer IV coming in here. Nope, Axis Tiger, my apologies. Do a quick check in here on the map. Oh, that 76 was taken out immediately upon crossing the bridge. I wonder if Colonel Lively got a satchel on him. He very well could have gotten a satchel on him. That is gonna prove to be unhelpful for the Allied side here, as we are looking to see potentially 2 tanks coming across that way. Alright, with 15 minutes remaining here, we are starting to see this Tiger push up onto hard cap. No doubt trying to take out what he feels might be a garrison, but unfortunately, he does not know that it is more eastward of his current position. Oh, but he does take it out. He has taken out that garrison. So that was a good shot from that Tiger tank. Gonna leave SCC scrambling a little bit, but they have very securely gotten their garrison network moved up. So looking at the map here, SCC has claimed very much of the western side of the map. We have 3 very strong garrisons just north of Ludendorff Bridge that really will prevent any wraparound. So even if they are to lose Epler Key, we do see a garrison going south of Ludendorff Bridge going out, but at this time, if I was commander, I wouldn't be too concerned about it, outside of thinking, okay, we have people on the bridge because our half track currently is not lit up. So it looks like must be somebody running underneath the bridge, because it just is locked out, but now it is reopened. And with this, we are starting to get a strong push from SCC on that northern side towards Dan Radar. And we are seeing this, beginning to see the point be contested. Vortex in the bunker by himself, already proving to have made a couple different plays throughout the course of this match, making a solid play, being the only man in hard cap at this time. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek and see how he does as he takes out 2 men. No doubt drawing the attention of Rogue towards him. But G.O.A.T did not make that garrison in the same location, so I wonder if they have one currently up on their point. Vortex is currently standing on one, it does sound like. But he is simply locking it out. He is not taking it out. which could prove to be an interesting strategy here. Let's see if it pays off for him. Rogue searching through that bunker, trying to find where he is. Ah, there, Vortex has found the garrison, and he does take it out. So good on Vortex for being able to turn around and find that garrison. Zooming out here, looks like that push that SCC did have on that northern side is starting to fizzle out just a little bit. But Vortex able to win his gunfight again in the bunker, just to maintain that pressure on hardcap. Vortex just going to town on the enemy soldiers as they all start to get in and try to take him out. Vortex does see the enemy supplies that have landed. At this time, there are still 50 supplies, and so he has taken that out. Bundin finally ending the kill streak of Vortex after he has done plenty of damage to the G.O.A.T side in taking out garrison and a supply drop. G.O.A.T, no doubt, is going to need to try to get some support players like Bundin up there very quickly to get supplies down to be able to reestablish that garrison. And with that, we have seen the support and garrison network from the right side here at Epler go by the wayside as G.O.A.T has simply overpowered them and are moving into the point. Good recon plane from Commander Pickles goes up, revealing a lot of the enemy G.O.A.T locations. But with that, we are starting to see FD, J, and E squads make their progress onto that point. So even though G.O.A.T is getting a good number of people back, that garrison network is coming in clutch, as that garrison here in E3 could still prove to be able to provide a lot of spawns in case they end up losing this point. And just as I say that, we are starting to get cap progress here on the final point as we watch this strafing run come through. We do have a G.O.A.T bombing run that's going to get a whole, unfortunately not a lot of things, get a couple friendlies and maybe one kill. But no garrisons, unfortunately, as those garrisons were already taken out. SCC still making progress on the northern side here, and we do see an airhead coming in from Commander Pickles. Who now have full control over the bunker, and in no doubt, by no means, appears to be going away anytime soon. Satchel Bows does get eliminated again. The curse comes in, but as of right now, Bundin is the only person on the hard point for G.O.A.T. With Dead Sheep, J-Ret, and Vortex all closing in on that point. We do have an allied airhead that will be landing momentarily. Let's take a look to the sky. Here we go. Triple H again in his Overwatch position. Just ensuring that this airhead goes unnoticed. And with that, we have a cap race, ladies and gentlemen. Smoke is down on the airhead, but no doubt will we have less than 30 seconds. We will start seeing members of SCC spawning up on this. So it appears that they could be in an all or nothing go at the moment. Commander Pickles is going to be sending men up. With an enemy Puma that has made himself known, but does not know where this airhead is. We have Wit and Vortex that have come off of it, and most likely are going to try to get rockets on this Puma. While G.O.A.T has been able to gain control over it, they do not notice the airhead yet. Cambo Jimbeat firing into the side of the bunker, not knowing that there are no enemies currently in that location. Airhead is still spawning. And the large majority of G.O.A.T defenders appear to be pushing straight up the gut to Epler. This will be very costly for them as they continue to get progress here off of this airhead. SCC able to leave enough bodies back, and a garrison has gone up for SCC just on the front door. Puma is eliminated, and now they are in the process of slowly eliminating G.O.A.T members who are pushing up towards this bunker. But one major issue going on here is that G.O.A.T's forces got too concentrated on the small amount of pressure they were able to get onto Epler, that they have given up this back line and are unaware of this garrison that's coming in. So SCC is in a very good position here, and if they want to go for the 5-0 with only 7 minutes left, do have themselves in a very strong position. You do not win any additional points for winning 5-0, but man, does it feel good if you do, especially in the closing minutes of that match. So Airhead is still spawning, and we are still seeing progress come in. At this point, if I was Commander Pickles, I might say all dead spawns to Airhead or into the garrison in H3, as they are making cap progress on here with no G.O.A.T responses anywhere close. We'll save a few exceptions from Eheartman, who is trying to do everything that he can to hold that location. Cabo Rogue and Mac Ready trying to make progress, and they do see a little bit of progress coming in on Epler, but at this point it is all in for SCC, who are flooding into the hard cap with 6 minutes remaining. We are halfway done with this cap. G.O.A.T no doubt panicking at this moment, most likely have some type of reinforce down, but unfortunately they do not have any bodies in that hard cap at the current time, so they will not be able to help with the reinforce. It is all hands on deck as they push towards this final point here for G.O.A.T trying to salvage the remaining portions of the match, but unfortunately, due to some very key SCC airheads that were able to get behind G.O.A.T, they appear to have been able to not only take Epler, but have been able to gain progress and are on the cusp of capturing radar. Oh, everybody's trying to save it, but it looks like we are going to have it. That is a 5-0 victory for SCC. Very well played from both teams. That point very much was given. That middle point was very much a strong battle. Save the exception of a couple airheads that can prove to be the deciding factor on both sides. It really was those airheads that helped Commander Pickles and his team from SCC push into the 4th and 5th points and be able to get that capture, and 5-0 for them. So very well done. Thank you guys very much for letting me cast this very first stream on my side. We had a couple different hiccups there, but we were able to get everything there in time for people to join us on the stream. So hopefully you guys had fun watching this match, and I for sure had fun doing it as well. So stick around as I continue to try to improve on these casting matches. We'll continue to see how things go. But with that, thank you all for spending some time with us on this evening, and have a wonderful rest of your day.